Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe right now to this channel. This is an amazing segment, an extremely important segment. And I know I say this a lot, but I don't think people understand the enormity of this story. And I'm just going to start off with, before we get to Mr. Representative, whoever smelt it, dealt it, Swalwell, and the fact that he fell in love. Love is a beautiful thing. He fell in love for about 4 or 5 years or so with an operative working for another country. And we'll get to that in a second. But what does a bundler do? What does a financial bundler do? This is NPR. Running for president is very, very expensive, and the costs keep going up. So that could be the same for running for representative. Eric Swalwell is a California Democrat, representative in Congress. So he needs financial bundlers just like everyone running for president or Senate or Congress. But hit subscribe, share this segment everywhere. I'm going to do this another segment on this at around 10 p.m. tonight, but this is extremely important. As the candidates chase after more and more cash, they're turning to super fundraisers known as bundlers for help. Bundlers organize and collect campaign contributions from other donors. The checks are often delivered to the campaign in a bundle, hence the name. Sometimes bundlers are called raisers, as in fundraisers. That distinguishes them from the writers of checks. As campaigns gobble up even more cash, bundlers rank high in the power structure of American politics. Bundlers are a hot commodity because campaign spending has outstripped the traditional ways of raising money. And so it goes on to basically talk about how any financial bundler is extremely important, the lifeblood of a campaign. And ladies and gentlemen, this man, Eric Swalwell, who apparently passed, broke wind. I don't, with the algorithm, it's pretty soon it's going to be just charades, and I'll be like, 2 syllables, just guess. But he broke wind on national television. It was actually Chris Matthews. I think I'm the only person on the planet who actually broke the story that it was Chris Matthews. But Swalwell is a typical Democrat and a very loyal, fanatical Democrat. He is not just partisan. He'll go after people on Twitter. He actually, just like most Democrats, tried to do the opposite of whatever Trump was attempting to convey in terms of whatever it was, the pandemic. So he actually told people on Twitter to stop wearing protective coverings. I mean, and I think it's still up on Twitter. He went after somebody regarding the Second Amendment and then, utilized this absurd argument that, you can't utilize nuclear weapons. I don't know what he was saying. It's complete nonsense, okay? The man is a hyper-partisan, children of the corn, typical zealot on the left or Democrat. But this is a huge issue because he fell in love with a foreign operative who works for a beautiful country and the most populous country in the world. And just going to go ahead and leave it at that because of the algorithm. But a very powerful nation in a country that will be the leading economy in the world by far in about 30 years. Will be a distant third behind India as well. So he fell in love with somebody who was working for another country as an operative, as an intelligence operative. And love is a beautiful thing. But this is Axios. His romantic paramour, quote, was a bundler for Swalwell and other candidates, according to a Bay Area political operative with direct knowledge of her effort. A current U.S. intelligence official confirmed her activity for Swalwell. A local elected official also said she brought in donors for other candidates. A foreign operative, intelligence operative, Oh, by the way, thanks FBI for the fantastic investigation into all of this. So you investigated Facebook ads, but you didn't investigate this. Absolutely fantastic. Confirmed her activity for Swalwell, a local elected official who also said she brought in donors for other candidates. Bundlers persuade others to write checks for campaigns. They can bring in substantial sums of money, as well as deepen the campaign's engagement with the target community, making bundlers a valuable and potentially influential ally to a candidate. They're the top fundraiser of any campaign. They're the top fundraisers. He also had a romantic relationship with her, and I just assume fall in love, because I don't think that a person as deep and a person with such love and passion for humanity like Eric Swalwell would just have a physical relationship with anyone. Well, by the way, he was married also while this was taking place. Par for the course for Democrats. I don't judge. I'm just saying. He had a romantic relationship and fell in love, let's say, with an intelligence operative who was raising money for his campaign. Does that make any sense at all to you? Is that perhaps a national security issue? Just perhaps? I mean, I'm not going out on a limb here. You can't make this up. You can't make this up. So the Bay Area political operative who witnessed Eric Swalwell's romantic partner fundraising on Swalwell's behalf was concerned whether donors she brought in were legally permitted to donate. They found no evidence of illegal contribution. With Democrats, nothing makes sense, but we found no evidence of wrongdoing. Is the DOJ or the FBI going to do anything? No. Is the DOJ or FBI going to do anything with Hunter? Or Caligula, I should say? Probably not. No. Is it extremely important? Is it critical? Is it essential to the Republican Party and President Trump for 2022 and 2024 that every single piece of evidence is publicized out in the open and that the American public and the world know everything, so that potentially in the future you don't have a Jeff Sessions and you have somebody better than William Barr who actually will do something about this? And maybe in the future, when the Messiah comes, we have an FBI director who puts the country first before media and the Democratic Party and does something about this? Yeah. So you need to have a special counsel for Biden's son Caligula. You should have a special counsel for this. You already have a Durham special counsel. So, I mean, it's unbelievable. This is an Axios article. Exclusive, suspected intelligence operative of other country targeted California politicians. We know that Dianne Feinstein had the same type of issue. The Democrats are the most compromised, but what they did is a sleight of hand. They did a public relations illusion. They made everyone think that Trump is with Facebook ads in Russia, and the whole thing was absolute nonsense, and I called it nonsense, and I called it complete garbage from day one. Hit subscribe to this channel. And tell your friends about this channel, because I'm going to talk about things, and I'm going to give you a vantage point on these issues and talk about issues like not many people are talking about this. Not many people are talking about Caligula, Biden's son. These are the biggest stories that people need to focus on right now, because the next 4 years, Republicans have to represent for 74 million Trump supporters. And the way to do that is to focus on this national security issue. This is a national security issue. We have no clue how much information was derived or obtained by an intelligence operative of another country who fell in love with or who had a romantic relationship with Swalwell, who was on the Intelligence Committee, by the way. Now, there's a certain sentiment going around within the Republican Party. See, I'm not a lifelong Republican. I'm a lifelong Democrat, and I voted for President Trump. And I've been one of the top channels, top voices for President Trump for the past 2 years. My vantage point is different. My vantage point is, if there's another country that's getting away with, dumping steel or unfair trade practices or international IP, intellectual property theft, I mean, the big issue is protecting the Philippines and South Korea and the South China Sea and contested islands. That is the big issue. That's actually the most important issue pertaining to all of this: the territorial disputes in the South China Sea. So I'm an advocate for protecting the Philippines and protecting South Korea and protecting Japan has a huge military, but protecting Japan also. But I mean, that's the issue that's going to be front and center within the next couple of years. It's not so much the economic stuff, but that's important too. President Trump actually stood up and said, "Hey, we're going to engage in tariffs. We're going to renegotiate trade deals. We're going to do away with the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which would have been a gift for that country." But my thing is, I don't want a Cold War with anyone, especially not the country in question. I don't want a Cold War. Cold War doesn't really. These things don't help. Like the propaganda. Oh, we have to be really upset with this country. It's like, well, wait a second. If it's just like in football, if the Miami Hurricanes are scoring 60 points on you, and you are, Notre Dame or Michigan or whatever, then you can't get upset about the touchdown dance in the end zone. You have to actually stop them from scoring. So you can say everything you want. Oh my God, how can they do this? This is really unfair. Get a better defense. Get a better defensive coordinator. Get better players. So we had President Trump who stood up to this country. We had President Trump, and he was vilified. Now Democrats are going to go back to the usual their compromise self. Basically, you have to stop another country from engaging in this type of behavior, whether it's international property theft or intellectual property theft, or trying to bully other countries, regarding contested territories, or unfair trade practices, or any espionage like what we're talking about now. You have to actually address these issues as a country, and if you don't, then it's almost like we deserve what's taking place. How do we address the issues when Democrats don't want to? Well, you grow a spine. The issue is not with Russia, China, or anyone else. The issue is, will Republicans allow Mitt Romney and Ben Sasse to be, Democratic operatives within their own party, to allow Democrats to fall in love with intelligence operatives of other countries? So you have this grandiose issue. This is like a spy thriller or whatever, like a poorly written novel, an espionage novel, and you have a number of from Dianne Feinstein to Eric Swalwell to Lord knows how many Democrats completely compromised. What are Republicans going to do? You have Caligula Biden's son, who's completely compromised and basically has emails saying, "Oh yeah, from foreign companies and business leaders saying, hey, thanks for letting us meet your father," while Biden was sitting vice president. And emails from 2014 and 2015 saying, "Thanks for letting us meet your father, and also can you give us any advice on how you can use your influence to help our company?" Just happens to be an oil and gas company in Ukraine. Okay, the people like Mitt Romney, Ben Sasse, Richard Burr, they went along with Trump Russia, Paul Ryan, Jeff Sessions, McCain. They went along. They helped further Trump Russia because they saw Trump as a threat. So they helped perpetuate the fantasy and the tinfoil hat theory. They took advantage of all the enthusiasm, the record low unemployment, the tax cuts, everything that Trump did that made him, have 90% of approval rating within the Republican Party. And at the same time, they stabbed President Trump politically in the back. And they did the same thing with 74 million Trump supporters, 274 million Trump supporters. And so it's not the rival country, people. Ladies and gentlemen, to my viewers, you have to understand something. You have to look at it in this manner. Okay, this is the value of my voice or this channel or my writing. It's not the rival country that you have to worry about. It's not the Democratic Party you have to worry about. It's not Eric Swalwell and him falling in love with an intelligence operative who's actually raising money for him. Can you think of anything more compromised in your life? Lord knows how much classified data, because he's on the Intelligence Committee. Lord knows how much classified data that rival country has. I mean, from Clinton's private servers with top secret intelligence and SAP intel, I mean, that alone is like a gift to every country in the world. But it's not the Democratic Party. It's the Republicans in Congress who undermine the majority of Republicans, who prevent people like Devin Nunes or Matt Gaetz or Devin Nunes, Matt Gaetz, Jim Jordan, who prevent people, Mike Kelly, who prevent people like people who stick up and defend the interests of 74 million Americans who supported President Trump. It's the Republicans in name only, or the Never Trumpers, the like 10% or 8% of Republicans who were kind of Lincoln Project, Never Trump people who just, kind of wish that there was a Mitt Romney again in 2024. It's those people that caused all of this. It's not the Eric Swalwells. We know that they're going to be compromised and do absurd things. We know other countries are going to utilize the weakness that exists within the deficiencies of thought and wisdom and all of that within the Democratic Party. We know this. It's like somebody who pushes you into shark-infested water. Do you blame the sharks? I can't believe you're biting me in half. This is horrible. Why are you doing this? This is terrible. No, you blame the person who pushes you in. The person who pushed you in is not the foreign intelligence operative. It's not the Democratic Party. You know what they're going to do. You know what, a shark in shark-infested waters is going to do. It's the people who push you in. It's the Mitt Romneys, the Ben Sass, the Paul Ryan, the Richard Burr mentality. Go along with anything Democrats say. Go along with the media. Make a big deal about tweets. And all the while just, turn a blind eye to absolute unprecedented levels of corruption that is swept aside and covered up by media. Give me your thoughts below. Be here at around 10 p.m. or hopefully earlier, but be right here around 10 p.m. this evening, and then, of course, a couple hours after for my next upload after 10 p.m. But 10 p.m. this evening, share this segment everywhere. Get it viral. I might do a segment at like around 9 or so. But 10 p.m. I'm planning. But check this channel around 9 or 10 p.m. Pacific. I have go to hagoodman.com. You can see my Rumble channel there. I have my link to the Rumble channel in the pinned comment. Ladies and gentlemen, hit subscribe. Share this segment everywhere. I can, let's see. You can just look up the Axios article yourself. The Axios article is written exclusive, suspected foreign operative targeting California politicians. That's December 8th, but then there's now FBI. The FBI now shocked when alerted him to suspected. So isn't it interesting how the FBI alerts Feinstein, Swalwell, but they never alerted President Trump? Isn't that interesting? And then you have Politico. Representative Swalwell says Trump criticism behind spy story. Like, what? The California Democrat says the president's trying to make him look bad. What are you talking about? This is Axios reported. You fell in love with your own financial bundler. I mean, who does this? Well, the same man who let a gigantic one rip on national television. That's, par for the course for Democrats. Give me your thoughts below. This is unbelievable. Give me your thoughts below. Be here at 10 p.m. Pacific this evening. Thank you, everybody.